G'day and welcome to the first video demonstration of Mapspinner. Mapspinner is an advanced terrain management and editing system for JMonkey Engine, JME, and what I'm going to be demonstrating today is some of the basic editing features that Mapspinner includes. Along with Mapspinner comes this little program. It's a map editing test. Typically you would use your own editing interface to modify Mapspinner. However, there are people working on implementing this. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to start the editor. One of the new functions that Mapspinner includes is that the standard test and the editing test has been combined into one thing. So while I'm playing the game, I can press E to start editing. I'm now in editing mode. So what I can do is start sculpting the terrain. I'm going to set it to sculpt mode, set the brush to bumpy, which is the first brush we're going to use. We're going to sculpt some mountains here, and I can just start dragging the mouse and I will magically see some hills appear. Now what I want to demonstrate today is we're going to make a ridge as such, and we're going to make some texture layers on top of this and make a road running through a part of this ridge. So the first thing I'm going to do, well actually the second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to paint some grass around this. Now what I've done on the keyboard is I've selected layer number 2 and I've selected grass as a texture to use. Actually the texture that I'm using is called nice grass if you look on the screen. And using the paintbrush, I'll just run along the mountain quickly and surround it with some grass for us. As simple as that. The next thing we're going to do is I'm going to make a dent through this mountain by averaging it out and create a road running through that dent. So I'm going to set the paint mode to average. Now I'm no longer working on textures, it's back to modifying the terrain itself. I'm going to press page down several times to try and get the brush size small enough for a road. And then I just drag the averaged road through the mountain. The next thing that we have to do is to actually paint the road texture on. So I select texture layer number 3. Now this system actually supports having up to 4 texture layers. However, we're only going to use 3 at the moment. And the texture that we're going to use is the road texture. I'm going to just brush this on. I'm actually going to select a hard brush to make the edging appear properly. And there we have a road running through our mountainside. I'm quickly going to overlay this gaming window. You might see some artifacts happening and give you a read up on how much data we use on this. I've checked up on the data. This amount of terrain editing, including all the textures and everything, uses 77 kilobytes of data. That includes terrain splatting and height map details for all the layers that's been used. If I was using 4 layers of textures on the road, it would have actually used the same amount because the splatting information uses the same amount for 3 and 4 textures. One of the main features of Mapspinner is also its streaming capabilities. As you can see, you might have noticed some of the blocks around the edges were still loading while I started recording this video. And if I would move further away from the terrain, it would actually switch to lower detail maps. I don't know if the video compression is going to cancel this out, but you could also test this function by downloading the Mapspinner sources and running it in conjunction with JME. This concludes our first demonstration for Mapspinner's editing features, and I hope there will be many more for you to look at.